Thanks for stopping by and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to install a turbo on a Duramax. Now this is going to correlate anything from a 2004.5 to a 2007. So your LLYs, your LBZs, and your LMMs. So guys, make sure you watch the video from start to finish. It's very important. You don't want to miss a step. The vehicle that I'll be installing this turbo will be a 2007 LBZ Duramax. Now I will be installing a Ryan's Diesel Service turbo. It's a 68mm street turbo. And it's going to be amazing, guys. So make sure you guys stay tuned. I got a cool sound clip at the very end of the video. If this is your first time stopping into the channel and you guys like trucks, diesels, installs, upgrades, reviews, make sure you subscribe. So enjoy. This will be your turbo mouthpiece. Even in a stock application, it will be the same process. This is an 8mm band clamp that goes around that. Just go ahead and loosen it generously. You want to loosen it quite a bit in order to get that off. So we have that stuff removed. Next you're going to go ahead and remove your serpentine belt, which is right here, and your belt tensioner, which is right here. What you're going to go ahead and do is use a 1/2 inch ratchet, breaker bar, whatnot. Go ahead and put on that belt tensioner where that notch is, and then go ahead and just loosen it up and then free up your belt. So because we're going to go ahead and remove this compressor right here. So next, go ahead and remove your wiring harness clips. They're just two little tabs. You just pop right out like such, and there'll be one right here. Little clip, just pop out like that. This will be a 14mm. There'll be 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to go ahead and remove our hot side intercooler pipe. Actually, we're not going to remove it. We're going to go ahead and just remove the boot that connects to the pipe. And we're going to go ahead and just set that off to the side. One thing to mention is there's going to be a crankcase ventilation tube that's connected to your stock mouthpiece on your Duramax. The crankcase ventilation tube is a long tube that goes across, and it connects to each side of your crankcase or your valve covers right here. As you can see, I have a rerouted system on both sides, so I have one here and one here. What you'll do in order to remove that, so there'll be a 10mm bolt right here, and then there'll also be one on the other side, on this side right here, which is right here. So in that case, I would recommend going ahead and just removing this hot side intercooler pipe and the giant wiring harnesses, which is just a clip. You just pop it up and then just slide them out of the way so you have access to get to that next 10mm bolt that's connected down there in order to remove that entire tube. This is a stock wheel. The only thing that I've done to it is I actually installed a drop-in wheel right here, a Wicked Wheel 2, a while back, and then I just painted my housing red. So it looks like an upgraded turbo, but it's not. It's a stock turbo. So we're going to go ahead and remove this downpipe back here, and it's going to be an 11mm clamp, and I'm going to show you guys how to remove that. Here on the back of the turbo, we're just removing that nut right there that's on the clamp. Again, remove these pretty good. Mine's pretty loose, but you can get a flathead underneath there and just pry up on these on each end, and it'll eventually come loose for you. That's it on that end. And then we're going to go ahead and disconnect the downpipe from the exhaust. Now we're going to go ahead and remove our uppipe on the passenger side. You'll be needing a 12mm socket for this job right here. These are going to be pretty tight. The next thing that you guys are going to want to go ahead and do is, you don't have to remove them completely, but these dipstick hold down nuts right here, just go ahead and loosen those up, and you can actually pick up your dipstick, kind of move it out of the way. Okay guys, so now we're behind the turbo pedestal side right here. This is where the up pipes connect to. There's going to be 3 of them. There's going to be 1 here, other side 2, and then right here on the bottom of it's going to be 3. So I'm going to start working on this, guys. I'm not going to video taking all these off right here, but you guys get the idea. Alright guys, so you're going to remove this heat shield on the turbo up pipes. 4 bolts, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then 4 on this side. They're pretty tough to get to on the driver's side. The easiest way to do is to go ahead and just get on the ground underneath it. Don't try to attempt it from the side of the vehicle. Let me show you. If you can find your engine oil filter, right above that is going to be your driver's side up pipe right here, and the heat shield will be, of course, bolted to the up pipe, which we just removed. But the easiest way to get to these bolts here is to get it from right above this oil filter. You have a lot more clearance versus you trying to get through the inner fender of your driver's side. Okay, so next what we're going to go ahead and do is remove the turbo pedestal bolts. What I went ahead and did is I just removed the studs off the back of the up pipe that goes to the turbo. I'm not going to remove the entire driver's side up pipe. I don't think that's totally necessary. I know it will be in the way, but it may make it a little bit easier not to pull the whole entire up pipe. Where I have that extension right there, if you were to follow all the way down, leads you to a 17mm bolt. You're going to have one right here on this side, and there'll be another bolt which is right here. It's right through here. You're going to need again, all these are 17mm guys, but it's going to be really tough. You're going to need a lot of extensions, swivels. I'll go ahead and just show you the technique. I'll go ahead and start pulling these off right now, but once I pull the turbo, you'll get a better understanding of where these bolts are actually at. So there's going to be the one bolt right here on the back that you're going to have to get out. Remove this hold down bracket that holds the sensor. Just pick this up, move it out of the way. Now onto our second turbo pedestal bolt that we're going to have to break loose. They're on there pretty tight, but wasn't too bad. We'll go ahead and use a magnet and just get that bolt out, which is right here. Extension, 3/8 extension with a 17 shallow, 3/8 swivel. Be able to get right in there. Alright guys, here it is. So that's the third one. If you go around here on the back side of the turbo, you're going to have the oil drain tube. You're probably not going to be able to use a shallow one. It's going to have to be a deep socket, but go ahead and put a 12mm on this side, and then of course on the other side. Go ahead and remove that. That's actually the oil drain tube. Alright guys, here's the other side of the drain tube. Just use a 12mm ratchet. I already loosened it. It's pretty simple. Last, what I'm going to go ahead and do is remove this Turbovane position sensor right here. It's actually, if you were to follow the line, you're going to see these two blue notches that's connected to this metal bracket. I got to get to the bracket. There's a few little clips you got to remove to get to it. This is a 10mm. Just pulled that bracket, the Turbovane sensor wiring harness right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. I'm gonna the reason why I'm taking it off now is because I'm installing a brand new one. Save me a headache and just pull this out now. Alright guys, put my gloves on for this one. Got everything disconnected. All I gotta do is pull the turbo. So here goes nothing. I did it. Okay, let me pull it out the rest of the way. Gosh, this thing's heavy. Okay, so I have the turbo completely ripped out. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is just send in that core, and then I'm gonna wait a couple weeks and I'm gonna receive my awesome upgraded 68mm turbo. You can actually see the bolts. So there's gonna be a bolt here, bolt there, and then a bolt right here. You can see here I snapped some pedestal bolts. What can you do now, right? And here's all my WCFAB goodies. Also, I cleaned right here. That oil drain tube connects right there. You gotta make sure you clean that up pretty good. because they're going to give you a new gasket in the kit. You want to drop that in there, but you don't want any extra debris on that. First thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is just install this new gasket, which is actually going to your oil drain tube right here. And I've already installed the new one, which is right here below the turbo. I cleaned the mating surface right below the Uppipe. The best way to install this is to put this in first before you just try to plop this turbo inside that valley right there. You want to line this up. It's going to be kind of tricky. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to go ahead and work with it. I'm going to be wiggling it in and out. It's probably going to take me about 5 minutes before I can get it straight. And I already know that that base plate's going to be stubborn right here. Alright guys, got it lined up. It was kind of tricky. I should have got it on camera, but I took a little pry bar underneath here, kind of picked up on that oil line to work it over. Now I got it. Now I just got to work the turbo into the holes on that base plate right there. So 12 millimeter here, and I know you guys can't see it, but there'll be one underneath this Uppipe right here on the other side. Make sure you guys tighten those first, and then go ahead and line up your bolts. But leave everything loose on your pedestal on the base of your turbo until everything is in line. Don't just start tightening everything down, because it's probably not going to line up right. Alright guys, so this is pretty self-explanatory. You're going to have these three 17 millimeter bolts right here, and they are going to be attached to the base of the valley. If you were to get a swivel on the side here, you can actually work it through. But this right here is key, guys, a flex head. If you don't have one, make sure you purchase one before you do the job, because this is really going to help you. And then of course you guys are going to need one of these little swivels right here, because in order to get down there it's going to be kind of tight. So that's what you'll be needing right there. I believe that's about 8 inches right there of an extension. The trick that I'll be using would be, you take the bolt, put a magnet on the end of it right here, and just feed it down into the valley right there. Instead of trying to figure out where it's at, it makes it so much easier. Now it's nearly going to be impossible for me to really get down in there and show you exactly where it's at, unfortunately. But with a swivel ratchet and about 8 to 10 inches of extension, you'll be able to get it. But yeah, just so you guys can see what I'm using here, it's about what you'll need right there to get this job done. Okay, so the fun begins with the Uppipes. We're going to go ahead and install those next. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, just to make this a little bit easier on myself, is to go ahead and just start these now. Get them in there. And then I do want to put a little bit of anti-seize on these bolts, just in case I have to take this off again, because it seems like I've had to do this like twice already. So just a little bit of anti-seize. Oh, by the way, this I bought brand new bolts just because the old ones were kind of messed up, and I snapped a few, of course. But these aren't the 12 point; these are the 6 point. These are 12 point. So I guess GM decided to go back to this bolt style right here. I asked the guy at the parts counter at GM at the GM dealership, are they for sure about the part number on there, because it didn't have the 12 point. He said that they actually switched out to this style right here. So I'm just gonna go with it. Okay. But man, tell you what, these aren't cheap. It was $42 for all these bolts. I know some people say you could go to the hardware store, but I don't want to chance it. I want to make sure these are done right. Now remember to leave that dipstick tube loose so you can actually get this up there, because it's going to be really in the way. So just make sure that you disconnect that dipstick back there like I was showing you in the beginning. Now that I got this on, I'm gonna go ahead and put the belt back on, the serpentine belt. Alright, next I'm going to install the new copper washer. Okay guys, now I got everything complete, everything's installed, and next what we're going to go ahead and do is just jump the relay. I have an LBZ, this is going to be a 2006 to 2007, but this is your relay right here, and this is where mine would be, number 84. Go ahead and pull that. Alright, let it calm down for a second. Don't want to burn the starter out. Guys, so I hope this video was helpful. Now I did have one issue when I installed the drain tube on the back of the turbo that made it to the valley. Eventually it actually got loose while I was driving and it started leaking oil. So I took everything back apart and I noticed that the bolts were loose back there, or the nuts were loose on that drain tube. So I just tightened them up. So what I'll tell you from my mistake, make sure you tighten those two nuts that are connected to the drain tube that made to the valley. Make sure you tighten them a lot, okay, so it doesn't come loose, because that was the only issue that I had on this install. But overall, guys, I am super pumped. Make sure you use my promo code TruckMaster on the Ride to Diesel service. If you buy anything from there, you will save some money, especially if you guys decide that you want to do the same upgrade. And also, I do have a lot going on in my engine. I left a full mods list. Just look in my description, guys. I also left Ryan's Diesel Service.com website. Make sure you click on that. Also, all my WCFAB piping kits, same promo code. Save yourself some money. Use my promo code TruckMaster. Some really quick specifications on the turbo that I installed. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just read this to you. A street turbo, a 68mm wheel, which the stock wheel is close to a 60mm if I'm not mistaken. 6-blade compressor wheel, 10-blade turbine, and it says in there great whistle, which as you guys heard, it sounds amazing. All new seals it comes with, heavy duty bearings, 360 thrust bearing. This turbo supports up to 700 plus rear wheel horsepower with the proper fuel supporting mods. So your injectors, you know, your CP3 upgrade, lift pump, so on and so forth. And it comes standard with that cool polished look. I'm gonna be doing some cool updated videos for you guys so you guys can see the way things are going. Right now, unfortunately, I'm just trying to break the turbo in. Also, I did bring it to the GM Tech and he did a relearn on my position sensor, on my vane position sensor. That's very important. That has to happen after you do the install, guys. So important. Don't forget that step. And then make sure you drive it 500 to 1,000 miles before you beat on it, so you can break that turbo in. There's that process of doing it. Make sure your coolant's topped off after the install. And if there's anything else I'm missing, guys, or you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Also follow me at truck_master07 on Instagram. You guys can ask me questions in my DMs, or if you guys want to just comment away on some of my pictures. But that's all I have for today, guys. I really appreciate your time, and again, I hope this video was helpful. You guys have a great day and take care.